Can stress be causing your erectile dysfunction? Let's talk about what erectile dysfunction is, how stress can cause it, and what can you do to get back on track. I'm Dr. Tracy Gappin, board-certified urologist, men's health expert, and the founder of the Gappin Institute, where we help high-performing men like you achieve peak performance in every area of your life. Now, today we're tackling a question I hear all the time. Men struggle with ED, and they're wondering what's causing it. And the short answer here is yes, stress can cause ED, but it's important to understand the details here. So what causes ED? Well, first of all, erections or erectile function is a complex process that it involves your brain, your nerves, your hormones, your blood flow, and your emotions. And all of them work together like a finely tuned machine. Now, when everything's in sync, working together, everything works, right? But when one of those are off, when one of those is not working properly, the whole balance is off, the system doesn't work, and that's when ED can occur. And so let's look at what are the causes of issues with one of those main elements of erectile function. When we think of stress, it's important to emphasize that a lot of high performers will deny that stress is a factor, right? They'll say, stress doesn't affect me, I overcome it just fine, I deal with it, it's not a problem. Well, in fact, it often is an issue without us even realizing it. And this is what stress does. Stress, first of all, can come from psychological issues, right? Like worrying about finances or worrying about your business or a marital situation or your kids or anything like that. These are psychological stressors. But there's also stressors such as toxins in our environment. We've talked about endocrine disruptors in a separate video. There are stressors such as infections or gut health issues or a number of other stressors that can ultimately cause stress to our system. Poor quality sleep is a big stressor to our system. What stress does is it raises our stress hormone called cortisol. Now, we need cortisol for our bodies to function properly, but too much of a good thing can be a problem. So when you have elevated cortisol for too long, what it does is it tells the brain a number of things. Number one, it turns off production of key hormones, testosterone, thyroid, growth hormone, DHEA. These are key hormones that your body needs for normal sexual function. Stress is basically turning off those hormones at the brain level and really inhibiting your ability to have normal sexual function. Now, stress can also impact neurotransmitters. So we have neurotransmitters, which are signals in our brain that helps our nervous system work properly. When we have chronically or consistently elevated cortisol levels, that impacts neurotransmitter production. And so this is a reason why a lot of men may have sexual health issues, whether it's lack of sensitivity, whether it's premature ejaculation, or whether it's lack of mood or drive. A lot of it can be, in fact, a nerve problem, and that can be in many ways related to chronically elevated cortisol from stress. So what stress will also do is cortisol raises blood sugar. Now, this is done because your body is sensing a threat of some kind, and your body uses cortisol as a way to enact a fight or flight sort of situation where your body is primed and ready to deal with whatever crisis it may be facing. The problem here is that excess cortisol drives your blood sugar up higher than you want it for longer than you want it. And so what happens is you develop metabolic issues. It's called insulin resistance, where chronically elevated blood sugars make you store fat. They make it difficult to build muscle. They cause inflammation systemically. What this does is it crushes blood flow. So the biggest factor when it comes to erectile function is blood flow. What can affect that? Insulin resistance, inflammation, high cortisol, low testosterone. All of these are causing vascular damage and decreased blood flow, which is ultimately what you need for an erection. And so this is why it's a combination of both physical, nervous, and blood flow and hormone issues that are all coming together to affect sexual function, all as a result of stress. The last way they can impact it is simply your mood, your desire, your emotions. When you're stressed, the last thing most men want to think about is sex, right? You're focused on whatever the issue may be in front of you, building your business, financial issues, kids, whatever it may be that's in your life, it becomes a priority and sex gets pushed down the priority list. And so these are all the reasons why, yes, stress can negatively impact sexual performance, sexual function. And, when we look at how do we address sexual health and specifically how do we correct and overcome erectile dysfunction, a lot of people out there will just offer the blue pill. these online companies especially, they're trying to sell you Viagra, Cialis. Just take those whenever you need it and don't worry about the underlying cause. But at Gapin Institute, what we do is we take a very complex systems-based approach when it comes to sexual health, understanding that it's a combination of hormones. It's a combination of metabolic health. It's inflammation. It's how do we regulate stress, and that means looking at nutrition and sleep and fitness and mindset and putting it all together. And when we look at how do we ultimately overcome sexual performance issues, it's about taking that comprehensive, holistic approach where we see the best results. Because we understand it's not enough just to give a quick fix Band-Aid like a blue or yellow pill to address the problem. Let me give you an example of how everything is connected together. I'll often tell clients that your nutrition directly impacts sexual function. And the obvious question is, well, how is that possible? Well, let me explain. Let's say you have a diet that's high in processed carbs and refined carbs and sugars and low in healthy fats and healthy carbs and protein. What happens is that damages the gut. Damage to the gut affects the microbiome, which is the balance of bacteria microbes in your gut, which is what helps your body produce key hormones and peptides and neurotransmitter that it needs for metabolism and energy, vascular health, etc. And so poor diet causes systemic inflammation, rises in cortisol, which goes to the brain and turns off key neurotransmitters, turns off key hormones, affects your desire and your emotions and your mood. It affects vascular health, which all ultimately end up impacting sexual function. So this is why we need to take a very complex systems approach when it comes to optimizing sexual performance. So when you're looking to correct sexual health problems, I believe what you need to do is address the underlying cause and take a comprehensive approach rather than using a simple Band-Aid like Viagra or Cialis. If you're ready to optimize your sexual health and performance, check out gapininstitute.com/launch for a bunch of peak performance gifts and learn more about our precision medicine approach when it comes to sexual health. Don't forget to hit the like button below, subscribe to this channel for more evidence-based insights on optimizing your health. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.